Welcome to eSports Edition, episode 13. In this session, I want to address news that there is a new team union for Counter-Strike Global Offensive esports organizations or teams. And this team union is going to basically promote or set requirements for tournament organizers in terms of prize money, travel, etc. And at first, I was really excited. I'm like, great, a union. And then I realized that, hold on, where are the players in this equation? And it dawned on me that what's needed in esports today isn't so much unions right this second. Eventually, they will be there. But right now, what's needed is a federation or federations of sorts. Esports is incredibly fragmented. And a concern with setting up unions at this juncture is that without an overarching body that pulls in all of the entities that would be affected by decisions made by certain unions, that you're going to have a very much counterproductive situation. For example, if you have a team union that goes to all the tournament organizers and says, "Hey, here's what we need from you guys," and the tournament organizers have no recourse for bargaining, there's no umbrella under which they all exist or they all have skin in the game associated with, you're going to see a quickly developing imbalance of power. And if you look at what goes on with international football, or soccer as we call it in America, FIFA, for all its ills and ails with corruption, has a really solid model I think could apply very well to esports. And for those who don't know, FIFA is the governing body for the health and promotion of football across the world. And there's a lot of parallels between how FIFA runs and how esports is structured, in the sense that it's an incredibly global and decentralized sport. Professional football at the international level exists across the entire world, just like esports. Unlike American football, as we call it, that's totally self-contained in the continental United States. You have teams and organizations across the world, and FIFA does a great job of pulling these together. And without that pulling together, without that umbrella, I fear that unions are just going to introduce consolidated silos. From the perspective that if teams are now unionized, maybe players in the CSGO scene are going to be prematurely pushed into developing a union before they're even ready. And who's going to manage the interactions between these burgeoning entities? At this point in time, I don't think that players are ready across esports to pursue a union. It's been discussed by those far more intelligent than I am, and it just won't scale right now. But what happens in the meantime? Does the team union that we're seeing here just consolidate power and set up all types of barriers for the creation of a players union, because at the end of the day maybe a players union doesn't benefit them as a whole? And what about the tournament promoters who they're quote unquote setting these requirements for? Are they going to have to band together in a union? Without that pulling together of everyone who has skin in the game, from team owners, management, players, tournament organizers, you're not going to see the growth that's needed. I think one key element to setting up a union is its inherent complexity. Unions are very difficult. It's more than my clubhouse. We're all together. We're all on one side. It's a little bit more involved. And if it's not done correctly, you're going to set an unproductive precedent. So hopefully we'll see we'll see individuals recognize that there needs to be federations. There needs to be an organization at a larger level than just for teams, just for players, that pulls all of these interests together so we can see the effective growth of unions. Because I think when you see, the development of federations for esports, and you have these bodies that are ably connected and open, because for this team union, we don't know who is or isn't going to be allowed to get involved. I mean, it could be that they freeze certain orgs out, but how is that going to affect the entire scene, especially in the CSGO community? Without this sense of an umbrella that's open and inclusive, you could quickly see things consolidate in ways that don't benefit everyone in the long run. And hopefully, moving forward, that'll get addressed. In the meantime, it's going to be something very interesting to watch. Unions are very interesting organizations, or very interesting entities, and I wish the team union the best of luck. And I'll certainly be observing. And as this becomes official news, it's a leaked email at this point, we'll have to track how it takes effect. That's all I have for this week. See you guys around.